की बड़ी खबर, सेबी की प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस शुरू हो चुकी है, सीधा वहीं का रुख करेंगे।
Okay, so anyway, as I said, the press release will be coming. As you can imagine, the elephant in the room is Adani Hindenburg. Now, I don't know why all of you expect that we will say anything about it. Because in the first place, our standard answer is we never comment on entity-specific matters. On top of that, the matter is before the Supreme Court. We never comment on sub judice matters. So there is absolutely no question of our commenting on that. So we will discuss all issues which are related to the significant number of policy matters that the board approved today. But I can see Lata saying, oh, mujhe nahi chahiye. Menika is also thinking, are galti kiya. Yeah, you're here, that's right.
Consultation paper 14 of February 8th, clause 7, line 4.
Oh, all right. Oh, wow. This is very good. What?
Your comments on not offering a comment on Adani.
Yes. This is our, yes, this is on record.
Has the conference officially started?
You thought we've started the conference? No, hum to chai pani pi rahe the. Normally the conference starts when the press release comes, then all of you have a little bit of time to do your sending of pics and quick WhatsApping. My God, the speed is amazing. Sometimes I wish I could WhatsApp that quickly. So we are just doing chai pani, but no, but this is, well, yes, in a way, yes, that this, we are not going to be able to comment on this matter at all because A, it's a specific entity related, and B, it is sub judice. The matter is before Supreme Court. It would be very inappropriate for us to say anything about it at all.
Can we ask you about the extent to which the investigation has progressed?
Nothing.
I mean, in the sense.
Yeah.
About a business right? So let me finish that. I mean, did you all, do you all do it in concert with other agencies? Have you all sought the help of, say, ED or ERI? Have you got the help?
So Lata, see, that is exactly what, if you see the Supreme Court order, it instructs us to give precisely this update to the committee. So it would be inappropriate for us to share with the media and the public at large what we have been instructed by the highest court of the land to go and report to the committee. So that's exactly what we've been advised to do, right? So we won't be able to do that, unfortunately. What is that? Remind me.
With respect to one conglomerate and not naming a specific entity.
Acha. So on that, I have something to say, which is that, I've been asked this question quite frequently over the last couple of months, saying now that you've finished 1 year in SEBI, what is it you want to do going forward? And obviously, when you want to deliver something in year 2, you have to start the work in year 1, right? Otherwise, it doesn't get delivered in year 2. So one of the areas that SEBI has in any case been looking into and speaking to a bunch of people is the whole issue of spirit of the law versus letter of the law. Okay, so when we engage with other people on spirit of the law versus letter of the law, we can hardly violate that ourselves by speaking about this issue in a convoluted way or in a golmol way or in a jalebi angrezi way. It would violate the spirit of what we are supposed to do and not supposed to do. So we have to stay with that. And in fact, that is our urging to many, many people, and we've been engaged with many people who we consider third-party fiduciaries in the ecosystem, right? So whether they are law firms, whether they are accounting and auditing firms, whether they are investment bankers, we consider all of them to be third-party fiduciaries, and the market relies on what they say. And therefore, we've been actually very actively engaged that in the coming year, we want to take forward this concept of spirit of the law versus letter of the law. And we've been seeking feedback on what we as a regulator need to do about it. So, for instance, a very valid feedback that has come to us is that why should the regulator be surprised when this happens? Because the regulator's actions are also reinforcing the same. So if somebody has violated the letter of the law but not the spirit, we will take action. But if they violated the spirit of the law but not the letter of the law, we find ourselves unable to take action, or even when we take action, it is overturned. So therefore, the system is all part and parcel of this phenomenon, and therefore, we as a regulator have an equal role to play compared to the ecosystem, the third-party fiduciaries, in solving for this problem. So we certainly intend to take it up in the coming year. So we will ourselves not violate any spirit of the law.
Ma'am, you're supposed to complete the investigation in 2 months' time, and you said now you will be submitting that report to the committee. So will you be, as part of normal process, normally you come out and display the report on your website?
You can interpret the. We never display investigation reports. We never display investigation reports. We only display orders.
But on this more serious note, are you likely to submit it first to the Supreme Court, or will there be?
We will follow the advice of the Supreme Court. Whatever the Supreme Court has said, we are duty bound to follow.
Which in plain simple English of the Supreme Court's order means that you will provide a status report to them
That's right.
by May, anytime by May 2nd.
We will respect the orders of the Supreme Court.
So that status report will not be shared first with the government, or will it be shared first with the Finance Ministry? Or
Why?
I'm simply asking if there is any.
Is that what the Supreme Court order said?
No, it doesn't.
So we will follow the letter and spirit of the Supreme Court order.
And that report will not be shared publicly unless the Supreme Court decides to release.
That's not part of there's no public sharing as per the Supreme Court.
Even before Supreme Court had asked, the investigation was already on by SEBI.
That again is going into the realm of status of the investigation. And now that we have the press release in hand, so I would request, of course, I know that you will want to send that off, so we're quite happy to be silent for a few minutes while you send off whatever you need to send immediately, and then we can start again.
Hi, can some press releases be distributed this side also?
Oh, sorry?
Madam, can we take a policy question? I mean, can you take a policy question?
First of all, this time we've created an index for you because we realized that we have so many substantive matters, so it's useful. So the reason we first focused on the ESG related matters, as you know, this is an area which is very significant in the global markets. India's ability to attract capital is going to depend quite a lot on this issue. It is a very, I would say, nascent area where many jurisdictions are actually still at somewhat early stages of determining the path that they want to take. We've had numerous discussions on this in IOSCO, and I must share with you that in our IOSCO meetings, many of our peers who are there, the regulators, the capital market regulators, they have been quite amazed at the progress that India is making in this space. And when they asked us what the secret sauce was, we actually said the secret sauce was not so secret because every single piece of what we have done has been co-created with the market. So whether it is the ESG proposals that you will see today, which I will take you through, or it was T+1 implementation, you know that we are the first major market in the world to implement T+1, or whether it is swing pricing, which we are one of the few jurisdictions that has a very robust framework for swing pricing. All of this has been co-created with the industry through a very rigorous process of consultation and co-creation. I think we go well beyond consultation to a process of co-creation. So right at the start, if we look at ESG disclosures, I think one of the very important things that we are doing today is introducing the concept of BRSR core, which really means it's like a core ESG. And if you look at the numbers, the normal BRSR reporting that we had outlined, which was in line with the global norms, has about 800 parameters. Naturally, many corporates expressed difficulty in being able to do that in a rigorous way, first of all, to disclose, and then more importantly, to have assurance on 800 parameters was a very, very difficult task. So what we did was we sat down with the industry and co-created something called BRSR Core, which has a sum total of only 41 or 46, 40? 49 parameters. And above that, there are few, but those are all derived numbers, like the intensity ratios. So it's been brought down to under 50. Not only that, in terms of what is the manner in which assurance will be given on each of these parameters has also been articulated. Guidance has been given on that. And that guidance was approved by the working group only after it was back-tested. So there was a proposal that these will be the parameters. This is how we will give assurance. We went out and back-tested it with a set of 10 large conglomerates. Only when it was clear, and there were some changes because of that, right? Because when the feedback comes that when you actually implement on the ground. So with that, we now have this very powerful tool called BRSR Core. And this is what will take us into the realm of assured ESG disclosure and therefore assured ESG ratings far ahead of any other jurisdiction on the planet. So this is a very important move for us. The other collateral benefit of the core BRSR was most jurisdictions are again struggling with the issue of supply chain ESG. So upstream, downstream, suppliers and dealers and so on. Everybody knows and understands that there's a vulnerability there to greenwashing because if an entity is wanting to develop a good ESG score, it can simply outsource either upstream or downstream the aspects of its activities which are not giving it a good ESG score. So it's very easy to circumvent this and it can result in potential greenwashing. So therefore, we are saying we must bring in the supply chain, but because the supply chain will naturally consist of smaller companies, we must bring it in only for BRSR core, only these under 50 parameters. And more importantly, we don't want 100% coverage. So your top suppliers until you reach cumulatively 75%, your top customers until you reach a cumulative 75%. So it's much easier to comply. So there's a huge ease of doing business here, but at the same time, you are achieving a high level of assurance. So this, again, we think is a very significant move that we are making, and we think that a large number of people are looking forward to seeing how this will work. Also, just to highlight that in the core BRSR, we have incorporated certain aspects of ESG that are extremely relevant to emerging markets. So traditionally, since this space has come from the developed markets, many of the emerging market relevant parameters were never included. We have now included them. And again, we find that when we speak at international fora, many of the emerging markets are looking forward to seeing what is it that we are doing in this area. Then moving on to the issue of the ratings themselves, we believe that this needs to be a regulated area. As you know, globally, before the 2008 crisis, credit rating agencies were also not regulated, and many people had said to us that, you know, global best practice does not require credit rating agencies to be regulated. After 2008, they all changed their mind. So we believe in not allowing a problem to first blow up and then only address it. We think that it's important that there should be, right from the start, a regulation and a way in which these entities conduct themselves. It is, again, very much a disclosure-based and a code of conduct-based approach. But yes, they need to be regulated entities. In terms of ESG investing, again, we are all very conscious of the fact that more and more money is flowing into these funds. Risk of greenwashing must be minimized. And therefore, we are introducing two things. One is, again, facilitating the growth of this market. The mutual funds, as you know, have restrictions on how many schemes they can launch. So up till now, there was only one possibility of launching one ESG scheme. We've now created ESG as a category. So within that category, there are now almost half a dozen different approaches to ESG. So in short, you can have more variety of ESG schemes going forward. So this is a developmental effort which is going to happen. But at the same time, there is greater emphasis on disclosures so that there is the investor, when they are investing in an ESG scheme, they know exactly what they're putting their money into. The second part is a linked proposal, which, as I said, is the framework around which we are saying that the ESG rating providers must be governed. So there must be transparency in terms of their rating rationale.